think that's too shiny. Hi guys, can you see me? Hi everyone. Sorry, it's so shiny here. I am still figuring out the lighting, but hi, good evening everyone. Thank you for joining me. Hi Jeff. Hey Patrick. Thank you for joining. How's your evening, everybody? So I know everybody's saying like, oh, why your skin is so oily? And in Korean, this is what we call glowing. I'm embarrassed. So in Korea, women, we don't use a foundation or powder. So we think that's really blocking our skin. So we usually just use a moisturizer and the sunscreen. That's how you get a very glowy skin. But I mean, this is just trying to explain why I don't look like Americans, because I have a very different skincare regime. Anyway, so today guys, thank you so much Jordan. I just joined because this morning I woke up this incredible news from my agent that for the first time as a North Korean story, it is in the contention of New York Times bestseller list. So in order to live, that my book came out seriously 6 years ago. And do you know the normal expectancy of a book is usually 2 years maximum. So for that, this book survived a very, very long time. And I think it seems like almost going backwards. And who do you think made this happen is obviously Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. So after Joe Rogan, the sales really went up. But so for the first time, New York Times considering a North Korean memoir into their bestseller list. New York Times bestselling list became very something controversial lately, and Dr. Peterson talks about how his book, despite selling millions of copies, I'm not even there, not even close, but he didn't make it to New York Times bestselling list. So I know it is a bit subjective, but still, it would be really helped, and I'm trying to give everything I have to push for it, so they know that the mainstream knows when they publish North Korean story. It's like almost a Holocaust story, in a way that media does a very prominent role when it comes to highlighting an issue. There has been a lot of genocide, a lot of problems, and the fact that there hasn't been any one single serious movie about North Korean human rights issue is a problem, and it's because also it hasn't been popular in American public. So if the publishers or the people in the Hollywood know that North Korean story, well, frankly say sells or can potentially become a bestseller, I think it will open a door to so many stories of North Koreans, and it will really open a door for us to really hear more about what is happening in the darkness. So guys, if you haven't ordered, I have in the details section in this video there is a hardcover link and softcover link. If you really don't mind, if you just get a copy, and especially I heard if you get a hardcover, it counts more towards their calculation. So I know if you cannot afford the hardcover, please get a softcover. It's $11 right now on Amazon, and the counting ends tomorrow, unfortunately. So that's why I'm like asking for your help right here now. Anyway, so the Samurai Hobbit, good to see you. Would you want to see your book adapted into a historical movie someday? I would love that, would be honored, but if there's just any movie that is highlighting suffering of North Korean people and these women, I've been reading this book written by Nadia. Nadia was captured by ISIS in Kocho in Iraq, and of course they were selling these girls. The ISIS were selling these girls as sexual slaves, and of course their atrocity gained way more popularity and gained more support. It's not like anything competing. It's so heartbreaking what's happening to these girls, but there are people like North Korean girls, just like Malala, just like Nadia, are being raped, are being killed right at this very moment that we are talking to each other. So if there's any way that we can highlight those darkness, those injustice, I am all for it. So it's a tragedy that no Hollywood studio is going for North Korean story at the moment, because they're not gonna get funding from China, and they are not gonna sell the movie in China, obviously. So because of the economic disincentive, that North Korean stories are just always being buried and hidden and ignored by the mainstream. So hopefully, guys, together we might break that, and if it does make the New York Times bestseller list, it'll be a miracle. It's a history almost being made at this point. So thank you guys for your support. So DP Chef 117. So 안녕 Yeonmi. My grandparents left North Korea before the war. I'm grateful for their sacrifice. Harmony walked from Pyongyang to Busan on foot while pregnant with my aunt. Wow, what a story. Yeah. It's in North Korea we have an expression where 11 train, which means we got 2 legs. Because we don't have a public transportation, we don't have bus, cars, or train. We say, we ride 11 train, which means we walk. But that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So Warrior 16 CP, hey Yeonmi, what do you think about all the division and hate the Democrats are causing in this country? Yeah, it's a deep subject. Someday I can talk more about what I've been going through, honestly, after I came out that I'm a classical liberal, that I support freedom of speech, I support free market, limited government, less regulation, right? And it's been hard. Complain. It brought me to go on Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson and people who are actually seeking for truth. So, but it's just sad that why they are not able to see each other's humanity because of different political ideas. I want to be in a country where there is a socialist and communist, right? The reason why I do not support the socialist regime, the country, is that because in socialist country or communist country, capitalists get executed. But in capitalist country, communists can coexist and they even flourishing, right? Like look at even AOC and Bernie Sanders in this country, while they're openly socialist, they're doing so well. And if you know your truth, if you know that your ideas are decent and has a value, you do not have to be afraid. And eventually the good ideas gonna compete and win the battle. So the ideas that people cannot be okay with the different ideas, this is so poisonous, it's really worrisome. But only thing is, what we can do now is that we do not give up, we keep fighting back, keep speaking the truth. And I think that's what we are doing now. So 김정은님 감사합니다. There are some Koreans here too. So the summer have again. So someone in the entertainment industry needs to grow some person stand up to CCP. They can't keep holding the world hostage. Yeah, this is what I keep thinking. I was talking about this with Joe Rogan, and that money, like what was it, the Fast and Fury, the entire, maybe the sales was 140 million, but maybe something like around 110 million came from China. So I think he thought that was the worst of capitalism, right? That profit is overriding everything. I mean, nothing is perfect. That's the thing. Like socialism has flaws, capitalism has flaws, but capitalism without morality, without God, without I mean, I don't even know how to say God in this point. It's not the God of the dogmatic way. Capitalism without consciousness, consideration, and decency, and morality, it becomes pure greed. And it's, I know I have a lot of libertarian friends just purely believe that we don't need any control, just let the market fix it. But if we are all living in a free society where the governments are not corrupt, I think market is going to be the best thing for us to decide what is good, what is being fixed, what is being produced. But currently, we are dealing with dictatorship and authoritarian regime in China, even though that free market currently only producing movies that is beneficial only for the economic gain. So this is really time for us to think hard about it. It's not about attacking capitalism, but how do we promote the morality in it? How do we promote decency while making a profit? And right, I mean, like John Cena has every right to apologize to whoever he wants. You know, NBA LeBron James has a right to do whatever he wants. And but of course, but also as individuals, we have also freedom to criticize him and, you know, show our opinions. That is all good. Just the only thing that is we need to really rethink is that just relying on free market, is it good enough? And I don't think getting government involved is any good idea, right? Whenever there's a problem comes in, people's tendency is let's go to government, ask them to fix it and like bring more regulation. I think the only way we can fix this some dark side of human nature and the capitalism all about just making profit can be only fixed by individuals who have this morality in their heart, who has this decency in them. And we demand the studios and these companies to do the right thing, right? I think that's the only way we can actually fix something, not just going to governments and let's bring the regulations so these companies do not make movies with China, right? That's ridiculous. That's defeating the whole purpose of what we are fighting, what I am fighting for at least, which is giving more power to individuals and less power for the government. Yeah, it's a very tricky situation with China for sure. So Joshua Lee, thank you so much. So Caroline, your stories have made me decide to request SK, my first permanent duty station South Korea, when I commissioned in the U.S. Army, so I can be close and hopefully aid the people of North Korea. Thank you for opening my eyes. Thank you for your service. Thank you for that. Sorry guys, I've been missing so many questions. So again guys, I am joining to let you know that my book might make it to New York Times bestseller list tomorrow night. If you help me to get some hardcover copies and softcover copies from Amazon and the Barnes and Nobles only. I don't think they let any other number counts at this point. The only number they calculate to make that list is from Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. So if you can help me, please go to the detail section and I have the links attached. And yeah, so love you so much. That was anyway, so let's see other things. So does Audible count? No, I think Audible, they said, does not count. Mainly hardcover counts. And it's gotta be only from Amazon seller, the main seller, not from the third party. Isn't it so tricky? So when Jordan Peterson, I heard that even though he sold millions of copies when the 20 Rules for Life came out, the New York Times didn't make it bestseller. But now they're trying to make it like diversity inclusion. So they try to give it to the people of colors and minority, right? But not actually the books who are mostly sold. I'm not sure what category I'm gonna be meeting in, but hopefully it works. I don't know, every time I do live, this thing happens. It freezes. Thank you for getting the books. Oh, you guys are the best. I know it's like I see a lot of you have read the book. If you have any related to my book question, let me know, because I was always about to have the book club and questions about the book, and we haven't done it. And I know that quite some of you already have read the book, and so I'm so grateful. So Caroline asks again, do you think if Kim's mistress takes over his reign that women's status in North Korea will change? No, I don't think so. I think it was interesting while I was reading Nadia's book about when she was captured by ISIS. Actually, there were women also joined ISIS, and the mothers of these ISIS generals and these militants, sometimes even crueler than men. I don't think being decent or being respectful, fighting for these things has anything to do with your skin color or gender or age, none of that. So the fact that you're a woman and you're gonna naturally fight for women's rights, I don't think that's any true. There are a lot of men fought for women's rights, and there are a lot of women fought for like men's rights. So if Kim Jong-un mistress ever replaces Kim Jong-un, I don't think that will ever happen, but if that happens, she does have a record of being very cruel, so very heartless. I don't think there will be any change. The only way for the regime that can last from here on is being more cruel, being more less tolerant. So I keep saying this. Recently there's a documentary series on Netflix, guys, called the Dictator's Handbook. I really suggest you to watch it. It's 6 different episodes. It starts from Hitler, Stalin, and many people, and it ends with North Korea and Gaddafi. And one of the reasons why Gaddafi got overthrown is because he became very, very soft. And that's when the revolution usually starts. So the reason why Kim Jong-un lasts forever, the North Korean regime can last for this long, at least when it comes to Netflix series, their conclusion was 3 things. Kim Jong-un Kims were able to manage to isolate the country completely, right? No country has ever done that. So keeping the population completely isolated, that's gonna help you to block the information and the movement of people. So that helps. The second is having zero tolerance towards any dissent. There's no dissent in North Korea, right? There's a lot of dissent in Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, China even, not in North Korea. They wipe out 3 to 8 generations right there and kill the root of that family. That's how they get rid of the entire, like what they call the problems. So keeping that zero tolerance, and then keeping the complete isolation. And the last one is nuke. When you have a nuke, I don't think like American can go like when they go to Afghanistan or Iraq, right? They cannot just go and then fight there and remove the dictator. So North Korea got these 3 gold ingredients, which is nukes, complete isolation, and zero tolerance brutality. So if the new dictator comes in North Korea, that's why in a way each Kim, whenever they got replaced, they became more evil. They became way more brutal. And I think that's why like we were so shocked. Like Kim Jong-un is younger than his father, but he's way more cruel than his own father. So if the next guy comes in, only way they're gonna maintain is being way more cruel than even Kim Jong-un. So apparently fear and terror works. It's very effective controlling people. So that's why when we see the terror, when we feel the fear, that's when we know that that's the only time we can fight back. Otherwise, there's gonna be nobody left there to fight for us. Thank you. So do you see a Khrushchev-like figure rising in North Korea? Hardline communists, but will someday turn the Kims into pariah, like Khrushchev did to Stalin? Yeah. But the thing is, Soviets were not controlled by anybody, right? They had their own autonomy. But you know that North Korea is a puppet state of China. So even if there's a figure like Khrushchev who can bravely come out and denounce Stalin at the Congress meeting of their Communist Party might do that. But then China will not accept it, and if China stops helping this person, North Korea has no money to run the dictatorship. They need gas, they need oil from China to make the nukes, to drive the cars, to run the basic economy. They need oil from China. So it's, in a way, the nature is very impossible for the regime to produce someone like Khrushchev at all. It's just very impossible. Unless China demands North Korean regime to change, the party to change like this, then it might happen. But it's within North Korea that thing can never happen. So Patrick, Ryan, thank you. Hi Yeonmi, your story is amazing to me. I am curious if you ever happened to talk to Hyun Lee. She also had a book called, I know, I read her book. I don't talk to her. I think she's been very private, and I respect that. A lot of North Koreans choose to be private, and like my sister, most of North Koreans decide to never tell their stories because, well, first of all, when you tell your story, your life is in danger. You become a threat of the regime, and also you also endanger all the loved ones around you. Lastly, they don't want to relive their experiences, and also, especially if women were trafficked in China, a lot of them, those are young girls. And this is also Nadia was talking about. While she was being raped, they make her convert to Muslim, and then of course raping her every day and telling her, now you're not even a virgin, you cannot go back to your own community, nobody gonna accept you, they're gonna kill you, like your father, your brothers gonna kill you because you dishonored your community. It's exactly the same thing with North Korean girls being raped in China. They cannot talk about it because they are so afraid that nobody gonna marry them and have kids with them in South Korea. And that's precise the reason, I don't know, like if you guys read my book, why I couldn't completely talk about that in the beginning. I had to hide my story. So because I have a son, that how much I wanted to have family. It's everything that I've been wanting was having a family. And I could not have dreamed of that with my past, being public and staying in South Korea in a very conservative culture. That could never happen. It's truly sad, and that's why we don't hear more stories from North Korea because of these reasons. So Hannah, thank you cousin. Here is some funds for refugees. How are they? Thank you. Well, some of them actually might come to America. We cannot say that, but they had a lot of good information, and American government think they are very beneficial, so they might even come to America. But it's going really well. They are all safe. And recently during the pandemic, even the North Korean officials who were legally working for the regime, staying in China, Russia, and third countries like Southeast Asia, they couldn't go back to North Korea because of the COVID. The regime said don't come to North Korea. So it was a very perfect opportunity for them to escape from the regime. So we have been seeing high rise when it comes to North Korea's elite to the escape. Ones like diplomat, and the interesting person that I met was actually a hacker. He was working in this group in somewhere in the world, and was making money for Kim Jong-un through hacking, and then he chose to escape. So it's unbelievable. Yeah, there is a crack in the system for sure. So let's see. Jono is like, everyone here, how about we spread the word and tell friends, family, and post to social media followers to buy this important book. We knew it was bad in North Korea. I don't think we knew it was this bad. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's I know I feel bad I'm even asking you this favor, but you guys is all I've got. I don't have any family. I came here alone, and doing this it means a lot. I think North Koreans, the biggest thing after escape is, of course, learning the system, learning the language, learning the technology. There's a lot of adoption to take, right? When you are coming out of North Korea, it's not like even coming out of China. You are coming to a completely different universe. But the hardest thing is they have nobody. They are all alone in this world, and North Koreans are very heavily family-oriented tradition. So from that tradition to come here, very individualistic, and you don't even know who is your neighbor. Nobody talks to you. And North Koreans, that's why the highest suicide rate in South Korea, the 3 times higher than South Koreans. And South Korea is the #1 suiciding country among the OECD countries. And you would think like these people are so strong, like they go through hell to be free and go to South Korea in freedom. Why would they choose to kill themselves? It's because of that loneliness. You know, when like I have friends, right, they say, oh, I'm going to see my family on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have nobody to call, like literally we are like left alone at home. And it's so sad in South Korea, like even when defectors get married, they don't have friends, right? They didn't go to school in America. If you don't go to school, first of all, how do you make friends? Most of people's weddings you see, they meet them in college or high school or something, or work colleagues. And North Koreans don't even have someone to fill the audience in the wedding. They have nobody to invite. So thank you guys for being my friends and, you know, make me not feel lonely. And also supporting other North Koreans like Hyunso, or there's Yuna, Uni, a lot of them, Evelyn, on the YouTube too. And the reason why I think North Koreans are more into YouTube is because they are so lonely. That's the only way they feel like they are connected to the world. And especially the ones living in South Korea, there's still very high discrimination. So thank you for your kindness. And tonight I am also having a friend whose name is Joseph Kim. He's another North Korean defector, and we're gonna have dinner and cook together. And of course I see Evelyn, another North Korean friend, more. So it's good to be in Chicago where there are, you know, I mean there are about 10 young North Koreans in America. So we all know each other. That's one benefit of having a small community, is that like there are like around 200 North Koreans, but excluding the children, elders, and our age group, the millennial group, is like around 10. So that's one benefit of being like in America, because we all know each other. Thank you, Jonah. And Tyler Smith, do you have any thoughts on North Koreans being exported as free labor to Russia to work at lumber mills, live at camps, display North Korean propaganda, and may not even be aware they are not in North Korea anymore? Exactly, that's thank you for that point. One of the income stream for Kim Jong-un is a human trafficking, which means he sends his slave labor to Africa to build statues for the dictators, to go to the war. They become the killer gangsters. So when there's some fight happens, they get the North Koreans come and die and fight for them, and Kim Jong-un gets money. And then of course they go to Poland, even Qatar, and Russia. They go to Siberia, they go to China, they go all around the world. And these people, when they go, you think, oh, North Koreans can leave their country, so that's amazing. But no. When they go, they don't even get to hold their own passport in their hands. And when they live in that country, they're living in a camp. It's like a concentration camp. You are not allowed to go outside, even though you're in Russia. And that camp looks like North Korea. Everything's propaganda banner. You got the portraits of Kim's. You have to study Kim's words. You have to do the self-criticism sessions. Then you like work like a slave for 18 hours a day, not really being fed, and you don't even have a safety equipment. And this is what is like going on in this 21st century. These countries like Russia, China, Qatar, Africa, they bring in North Koreans, and then they're cheaper labor, right? So they pay something $700 per worker, their labor. Then Kim Jong-un takes it all. And then zero money goes to these laborers. But do you know why North Koreans dying to go this slave labor, even though they die quickly and their death rate is so high. The only reason they go is because they're gonna be fed 3 times a day. Being fed in North Korea is the biggest thing. So these laborers, all they want is just being fed and not dying from starvation. If they were left behind, they're gonna die. So they are just even the opportunity of being fed, not even being paid for their work. They feel so grateful, and it's so hard to go out to become a slave in North Korea, slave worker. And yeah, these are the things that you need to work on, but they are not doing that. These are the things that we need to know about. So Winnie Upstate, that's how I say your name. So what do the world governments say they care about human rights and still give aid to North Korea and don't get tough with China to stop them keeping the North Korean regime in power? This is worse than World War II Holocaust. I think just the fact that, I mean, there's no comparison who went through worse or what, right? Suffering is suffering, injustice is injustice. What is baffling to me is how long it's lasted. And also what made me speechless is that I don't know how long it's gonna last. I think that's what wakes me up. Like this, if this thing lasts 80 years, right? If like the people say there's a startups, if it lasts 1 year, there's a chance of lasting 5 years. If the company lasts 5 years, it's a chance of lasting 10 years, 30 years. If the country was managed to stay almost 80 years in power, we know that their chance of staying in power is way, way longer than 80 years. And look at China. With all the economic freedom and the prosperity, did not bring down the Communist Party. And Chinese people, their social credit system holding them back, and they're being controlled like North Koreans in a degree. So that's the thing, is evil, how long evil can exist in this world, and how tolerant people are when it comes to injustice. That's scary to me. Yeah, that's alarming. And what we are able to be okay with is baffling, at least. So the samurai, like I said last time, I pray to someday see Taeguk flag flying over Mount Baekdu, signifying a united free Korean Republic. Well, that day, I know where you're gonna see me when that day comes. I will just retire. I will go start the orphanage in North Korea and retire from the public life. And that'd be an amazing day, guys. Thank you so much for caring about the North Korean people. And I cannot believe that actually after Joe Rogan interview, how many people are not talking about China and North Korea. Because in the past, they just talk about North Korea with their nukes. They do not include the China aspect in the conversation. And I feel like with your support now, the public awareness is shifting. Thank you so much. I mean, because of you guys who were listening to Joe Rogan podcast and Jordan Peterson podcast, that people were getting the books now, almost making it New York Times bestseller. I don't think it's gonna make it, but we will try. So when we speak out, when we share the stories and keep speaking out, I think that's the only way we can change things in democracy at the moment. And that is the most beautiful way to change things too. So thank you for joining me today, guys, and so supportive. Please get the book if you haven't, and if you can get the hardcover, that'd be amazing. If you cannot, you can get the soft cover. I will update you as soon as I hear from them. So it's gonna be last counting gonna end tomorrow evening. So please let your friends know this is going on, and it'll be a historical event. The North Korean story becomes so mainstream because nobody ever have cracked the code yet. I am honored in the center of this, and it's all because of you that gave me platform and still giving me this platform to speak up for my people and for freedom, really. We are in this all together. That's the thing, like, we are in this shared journey, and even in America, sadly enough, I have to fight for freedom of my speech. but the thing is, it's all related. So love you guys. I hope you have a great evening, and I will update you on Thursday. I will see you soon, and have an amazing night with your family, guys, and friends, and yourself. Love you, Joshua. Thank you so much, Joshua. Thank you so much, Wolfgang, and everybody else that I didn't get to read. Love you so much. Bye.